Trying to lose weight can sometimes feel like the most grueling task ever. You know how it is. You feel hungry all day and you have all types of cravings. But if you start using the foods I'm about to show you in this video, all of those problems will stay in the past. The key to not being hungry while you are in a weight loss phase is to take advantage of high volume and high protein foods. These types of foods will keep you satiated for a very long time. So let's go over all the great high protein sources first. Oh, and also an important thing to note is that you want most of your protein sources to be as low in calories as possible. A great example of this is any type of lean meat. That is basically just pure protein, which makes it a brilliant food for your weight loss diet. What is also a pure protein source is egg whites. Egg whites are absolutely amazing for people who are struggling with getting in enough protein, as you can just mix them into a wide variety of foods and easily increase both the protein amount and the volume of the food that you are eating. So if you are having hard times getting in your protein, definitely give egg whites a shot. Last week in the bulking video I mentioned that eggs are amazing for bulking but also for cutting. But the main difference is in the application. While you are bulking, you can easily eat like 5 eggs for breakfast and be cool with it. But if you are cutting, eating so many eggs would most likely use a lot of your daily calories in just one meal. So this is where the ultimate trick comes into play. If you are working with just a very tight calorie budget, use only like 2 to 3 eggs and then add in some extra egg whites. If you make a scramble or something like that out of it, you won't even notice that you are using less eggs, but you will still get in all of your protein and a decent amount of healthy fats from those couple of eggs. One very important thing that everyone should be aware of when they are dieting is paying attention to what kind of products you are eating. By that I mean focusing on products that are available in fat-free versions. This is mostly relevant to dairy products, so foods like Greek yogurt, cottage cheese or mozzarella. Just simply switching to a low-calorie version can save you so many calories, and you can still eat the same food as before, it just has less fat. Of course, this applies to many other products than just dairy. But there is a trick that the food industry uses to trick clueless customers, and you are probably being tricked right now without even knowing it. How, you might ask? Well, they will say that the product is low fat, which is true, but what they don't tell you is that they remove the fat and then replace it with sugar to make it taste good. So you might be thinking that you are getting a low calorie product, but in reality you just got scammed. That's why it's important to always look at the nutrition label. So always double check what you're buying. And of course, we can't forget about protein powder. Even though this might not be considered like a real food, it is a very helpful tool in your weight loss diet. Not only for quickly getting in your protein without the need to prepare anything, but most importantly, you can add protein powder into various meals to increase their protein content and also add some yummy flavor. For example, overnight oats with a scoop of protein powder just tastes so much better. I don't want to say that protein powder is a must, because it simply isn't, but it can be really helpful and really convenient. And just as a side note, I would highly recommend you to consume 1 gram of protein per pound of body weight. There is always a discussion about how you can do just something like 0.8 grams of protein per pound of body weight. But really, if you are cutting, you should really use something like 1.0 or even 1.1 grams of protein per pound of body weight. Just because you don't want to lose any muscle while you are cutting, and also because you don't want to feel so hungry all the time. And consuming more protein will deliver exactly that. But even though being on a high protein diet will certainly make you less hungry, we can combat this problem of constant hunger even more. This is where all the really high volume foods come into play. But before I show you some great high volume foods, I gotta show you my nutrition plans. No matter what your goal is, if it's bulking, cutting or just maintaining, I got you covered. So if you wanna get the simplest step-by-step nutrition guide in the world, check out the link in the description. Okay, back to the best high volume foods. The best high volume foods are veggies and fruits. Mainly because they are low in calories but high in water, which makes you feel more satiated. And they also have a lot of fiber, which will help you feel satiated for a longer time. If you are struggling with being hungry, you should really try to explore veggies like spinach, lettuce or zucchini. You can easily mix them into your food, which will add so much extra volume. Take zucchini for example. You can cut it into small pieces and mix it with your pasta for example, and suddenly your meal has doubled in volume with basically no extra calories whatsoever. Alright, I know that some of you are now thinking something like, ew, I'm not gonna eat zucchini, that sounds yucky. But trust me, a couple of years ago I was thinking the exact same thing. But if you give it some good seasoning, you won't taste the zucchini at all, it will all taste like pasta. And you won't believe how full you will feel afterwards. And if you suddenly get a sweet tooth, that is where the fruit comes into play. There is so many ways in which you can enjoy yummy desserts with the fruit as the main component. If you just take Greek yogurt for example, put some strawberries on top and drizzle it with some sweet low-calorie sauce and you got yourself such a tasty treat. And unlike some sweet junk that you would buy at the store, these low-calorie treats will not leave you feeling miserable. It will be the exact opposite. You will feel proud of yourself that you managed to escape the super processed, unhealthy, ultra-processed junk. And from my experience, I can tell you that after you discover how many tasty low-calorie treats you can create, you will not even want to go out of your way to eat some garbage. What is also definitely worth mentioning is soups and broths. Similarly to all the fruits and veggies, it's basically all water. But unlike drinking just plain water, eating a soup or a broth will actually make you feel satiated. Plus the fact that you are consuming something really warm is really enjoyable now that it's winter. There are tons of ways in which you can make your soups. You can go with just veggies or you could even mix in some lean meat. Both of these options are great, because as we have learned before, both veggies and lean meat are very satiating. So no matter how you slice it, a soup or a broth will be a great option. Just be really careful about your oil usage, because that's where it could easily go wrong. If you are gonna put in some oil, always measure how much oil you are actually putting in, by using a spoon. Do not just start pouring it directly into the pot like a madman. You might think that you can eyeball it, but I will tell you right now, you can't. And if all of these tips somehow still didn't get rid of your hunger, it's time to deploy the ultimate trick. I was thinking if I should include it or not, because it's not really food, but I have to mention it because of how effective it is. The trick that I'm talking about is caffeine consumption. The reason why this is so effective is because caffeine suppresses your appetite. That's why if you drink your coffee, you don't really feel like eating anything after that anymore. But this obviously doesn't only apply to coffee. You can use anything else that has caffeine in it, as long as it is sugar-free, because you don't want to be consuming liquid calories while on a diet. So you can use coffee, sugar-free energy drink or sodas. Or if you are more into natural products, you can go with green or black tea. Black tea has recently become one of my favorites. I was always thinking that teas can't even come close to other caffeine products, but if you actually buy a high quality tea and not some $1 garbage from your local supermarket, where you keep wondering if the stuff you bought is even tea or if it's just some dust from your neighbor's carpet, then high quality teas can be really powerful. And from my experience, the caffeine crash is not as dramatic as if you were to smash a can of an energy drink. And the overall appetite suppressing and mind boosting effects stick around for a lot longer. Which could theoretically also be a negative if you consume a lot of it later in the day. That's why I would highly recommend you to only consume caffeine in the first third of your day. Otherwise your sleep will be ruined, and when that happens, everything else will be ruined as well. So be careful. And that's all I got for you. Share your favorite high protein and high volume foods in the comments below, and I will see you next time. Ooh, this video right here looks pretty good. I think that you should go check it out.